ever find yourself lying awake at night, replaying conversations, thinking about the future? Well, that's overthinking, and you are not alone. According to Forbes, 73% of 25 to 35-year-old people chronically overthink, while 52% of 45 to 55-year-old actually overthink. I think that's very true. Honestly, for a very long time, I've been a chronic overthinker, sincerely. And one bad thing about overthinking is it leads to stress, it leads to anxiety, it leads to indecision. In this video, I'm going to show you how to overcome overthinking using what I call the set. If you're like me, you are probably a chronic overthinker. It's so bad that I'll go to a restaurant and to even pick a menu is a problem. I'm going to look at everything and I'll be like, should I go for this? Should I go for that? It was so bad that I could spend about 30 minutes trying to think about what I'm going to eat or what we are going to eat. I remember one time I greeted one of my colleagues when I go to the office and hey, good morning. She answered me. Guess what? I started overthinking. Did I say anything to her? I started flashing back on our conversations over the last 3 weeks or so. I was like, but when I was going home yesterday, we actually said, hey, goodbye to each other. What did I do? Did I say anything to offend her? Did anybody tell her that I said something about her? I started thinking, I started searching my brain. For over 10 minutes, my brain was, when I started working, I wasn't concentrating because every time she passes, in my mind, I'm like, I must have done something to this girl. What did I do to her? Why didn't she answer me? Only for her to come to me about 30 minutes later and be like, hey, how are you? I'm not sure I've seen you this morning. Sorry, last night was very rough for me. A lot of things happened in my family. So when I got to work this morning, I was just about, and in my mind, I was like, I never did anything to her. So she was actually going through her own stuff, right? That's overthinking. And for a very long time, I have done that. But the truth is, I know I am not alone. There are so many people who do this. And the dangerous thing about overthinking is that a lot of people don't even know they overthink. If you ask them, do you overthink? I'm sure they'll be like, I don't think so. I think I try my best. But the truth is, you do actually overthink. Over the next few minutes, you are going to find out that you actually overthink. What is overthinking? In very simple terms, overthinking just means that you dwell so much on past events or about the future. So you think about things that have happened in the past and you keep over dwelling on them, you keep thinking about them, or you sit down and think of the next 2, 5, 10, 15 years and you keep thinking and dwelling. If you fall into any of these two categories, you are an overthinker. As a transformational coach who works with people to overcome their self-doubt so that they can live their best life possible, I've worked with clients in the past who tell me something so funny that I remember somebody telling me that I couldn't start my business. I've had this business idea in my head for at least 5 years, but I couldn't start. I said, why didn't you start? He said, what if people don't buy my product? What if it's not the best in the market? What if other people don't find the packaging attractive? And I was like, you had not even started. You're already thinking that people are not going to like what you're about to sell. That's not good. A lot of people fall into this category. I can tell you today that a lot of people have not been able to breath their ideas, their business idea, change of career, do so many things because of overthinking. Because they ask questions about the future. Too much questions. They say, what if it doesn't work? So now imagine, look at yourself. Imagine that you're a basketball player, right? you are going for a major tournament, and your team, the spectators, everybody, they are all looking up to you that, of course, you are going to score 3 pointers, do all of those things. And in your mind, you're already thinking that, you're overthinking that, what if I throw the ball and it doesn't go into the basket? What if I throw it this way and it goes out the other way? And you have not even made any attempt to do that yet. You're already thinking you are going to lose. That's what overthinking makes a lot of people to do. Like what you have not even started. Something that is just coming up in your mind as an idea, as a way to be successful, as a way to launch your dreams. You're already overthinking it. You're already thinking why people might not love you. You're already thinking about 1,000 things that could be wrong with that one thing that you want to do. That's what overthinking can do for you. It makes you lose mental clarity. It makes you lose focus on how you can make things work. I see this all the time when I work with people. I remember the case of a young woman who I was working with. She wanted to improve her self-worth so she could make more money and live her best life. And I asked her, I said, tell me about one thing that you think you overthink. And she was like, I don't overthink. I actually don't think I overthink. I know a lot of my friends say they overthink, but I don't think I fall into that category. And I said, okay, let me ask you this question. I said, tell me about a time when you met a new friend or somebody that you didn't know before. Tell me, just give me an overview of what really happened. So I had something at the back of my mind before I asked that question, right? I wanted to draw her out so she could say what really happened. And she goes, let me remember. Okay, one that I can really remember is I met this guy last year at an event. We started talking, we got each other's number, and he said he was going to call me the following day. I was like, so what happened? Did he call you? She said, no, he didn't call me that day. I didn't want to text him. I didn't want to call him. I was looking at my phone. I kept on thinking, I flashing back to our conversation. Did I say anything wrong? Was I too forward? Was I too quiet? Did I behave in a particular way? Did I come off as something? And she was like, it started giving me anxiety. I started thinking, what could have gone wrong? And then she started mentioning her name. She started talking to herself like, oh, when are you ever going to do things right? Why didn't you just, she was so confused and she was drowned and she was in so many thoughts. She was talking about so many what ifs. And I said, stop right there. I said, do you know that's overthinking? She said, really? But I was just worried that I didn't get back. And I asked her, so did he later get back to you? She said, yes. Oh, he called me the morning of the other day. I mean, if today, I think they met on a Saturday or so. So he didn't call. He said he was going to call or text on Sunday. He never got back. Then on Monday, I think he would go back to her. She got a text from me telling him that he had a family issue. There was an emergency. They called him from his family house. He had to run home and all of that. That he's sorry. Then I said, you see that? And she started laughing. I said, but you just told me earlier that you don't overthink. That's how most of us are. If they ask us, do you overthink? You'll be like, no, I don't think I overthink. You do actually overthink. It could be about your finances. It could be about your career, about your relationship, about your education, about your future. It's always good to think about your future and to also reflect on your past so that you can grow as a person, right? But I can tell you that it's not good to dwell so much on it, to overthink. So how can you overcome this? By using the set technique, the first thing you are going to do is the S, which is set a time aside for thinking. I know this might sound really crazy. So when I started this journey of using the set technique, I started with 35 minutes, if I recall. Then I cut it down to 25, then 15. Right now, I only use 5 minutes. So what do? You set out this time every day where you have to think about the things you should be overthinking. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's say as you're working, then different things started coming to you. I greeted my colleague this morning. She didn't answer. I met somebody yesterday, they didn't reach out to me. You know what the examples I've used. When those things come to you, you know what you say to yourself? Don't worry, wait for my set time. So let's say your set time is maybe before you go to bed. Some people might be early in the morning, whatever works for you. Some people it might be during their lunch. So during that time, you sit in a quiet place all by yourself, no distraction, and then you start dealing with the overthinking. Okay, this person didn't do this to me, they didn't reciprocate what I did to them. And then you think about it. Okay. I think that's sorted and that's not a problem. Okay, my future, I want to buy a house, let's say next year, but I don't have the down payment. And how can I make that happen? So rather than thinking that, am I going to buy a house? What will I do? What you just need to do is, I don't have a down payment. So you start with step one. What's the cost? What's the average cost of the house I want to buy? In what neighborhood, and what's the cost of the house? You know it. How much down payment am I doing? Is it 10%, 20%, 30%? How much is that going to be? Step two. Now that I know, how do I get this? If I want to save between now and next year, I don't think I can make that money. So how do I get it? Am I getting money? So you know your peculiar situation. So think about, okay, will I be able to get that money? Factually, I don't think I can get it. What do I need to do? Let me go rent a house. Then I'll plan to get a house. Let's say in the next, to buy a house, let's say in the next 5 or 6 years or something. If I need to do this, what do I need to be doing? Save this X amount of money every month over the next 5 years. Then I can have the 10% or 20% down payment to maybe buy the house. So these are the things you take care. That's an example of a financial issue that causes overthinking, right? So you can take care of that during your time that you've set aside for overthinking. Well, I'll call it the thinking time. The time you set aside, that time would have been used for overthinking. But guess what? If you use it for overthinking, you would have probably spent 2 hours. But if you set it aside for thinking rather than overthinking, probably in 10-15 minutes, you are done. It's dusted. It's sorted. So you can use that. That's like an example of getting a house. You can use that for other things, your relationship, your career, even your marriage, anything, whatever you think you overthink, you can use that to solve it. That's the first thing. The second step is E, which stands for engage. Now, all of these things, the way I'm saying, of course, on paper, the way I'm saying it might look easy, but in reality, you need to put in some work. So when you start setting aside time, it's going to be tough. Initially, everything's going to be coming to your head, a lot of thought, a lot of ideas at all times. So what do you do? When all of these things come, I want you to engage yourself. How do you engage yourself? Or in other words, distract. Do whatever works for you. For me, what do? Is that I pick up my phone, I call a friend. I go on FaceTime, we start talking about life, about what's happening over there, wherever they are. I might be, watch movies, action. I love to watch like action of sci-fi or whatever, or comedy. I have a couple of Nigerian comedians. They make me laugh a lot. So I might just want to watch them maybe on TikTok or on Instagram or something, or YouTube, and then laugh. By the time you're into that in like 5 minutes, you're going to forget about overthinking. Some people, it could be that you play some music. I love to do that sometimes too. You play music, or you could go to the gym, or you could work out, you could dance, you could do anything, you could go play sport, whatever works for you. Everybody, just find what works for you. But the most important thing is find something to engage yourself in, find something to distract yourself. And that takes me to the third point. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, I want you to subscribe. As a transformational coach, I work with people to build their self-confidence and crush their self-doubt so they can live their best life possible while making more money and building great relationships. So when you subscribe to this channel, you're going to have access to all of my content, all for free. Hit the subscribe button right now. Now, talking about the third point, overthinking is closely associated with negative thoughts, right? Most of the time is about things that you cannot do, but your brain is going to be thinking about how you can do it. Just like imagine the other one. I want to buy a house next year. I don't have any down payment, and I want to make it happen. That sort of negative. I want to do it, but I don't have the capacity. So your brain is going to be drowned with so much thoughts. Be like, okay, like this, if I do like this. And then you end up having headache. And at the end of the day, it's not going to solve anything. So when you begin to have negative thoughts and you begin to say, oh, you started again, like the story of the girl I talked earlier. Oh, he said he was going to call me. Oh, I think I must have done something bad. Am I a bad person? Did I think in a different way? Did I hack too much? Did I laugh too much? Was I too stone cold? You know? So, and all of that. So, the moment you begin to have those negative emotions, the moment you begin to creep in, what do? Replace them with positive. So you replace them with positive vibes and then reinforce those positive vibes. Rather than thinking about, oh, did I talk too much? Did I do anything wrong? Think about the past when you have met people and you be like, oh, I really love your personality. You have a great personality. You are so nice. You are so bubbly. I like that you are quiet. You are gentle. You are kind. So replace those negative vibes with the positive vibes. When you do that, it's going to do what I call a mental shift. It's going to shift your brain from the negative emotion zone to the positive emotion zone. And when you're in the positive emotion zone, you'll be able to think straight and you'll be able to do things right. Now, to overcome overthinking, what do? Set aside a good time to actually think rather than overthink. Engage yourself when you still have those negative emotions still flowing. Make sure you engage, do something, dance, go to the gym, talk to a friend, watch a movie, and all of that. Then T, I want you to trade negative thoughts with positive. So whenever you're feeling negative emotions, I want you to replace them with positive emotion. If you do these three, that's the set principle. Okay, put it in the comment section. Which of these three have you used in the past? Which one worked for you? Which one did not work for you? I would really love to hear from you so that other people can gain from your story. Here's what I want you to do. Here's what I want you to do before you go. I want you to use at least one of these tips in the set technique. Start with one of them, then gradually move to the second and then the third, and then begin to practice it until you get better. Then once you get better, I want you to be consistent. If you do this, this is what it's going to do for you. It's going to take away stress from your life, which overthinking brings. It's going to take away anxiety, and your decision-making skill or your decision-making ability is going to be sharp. When you're able to when you have mental clarity and you can make sharp decisions, do you know what it's going to do to your life? You'll be able to live your best life, make more money, make great relationships, have a great career, and enjoy every single day of your life to the fullest. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video.